Hi and welcome to Music and Gear. Today on the bench we have a Kramer Beretta. If you're not familiar with the Beretta, it was the original shred guitar. One pickup, one volume, right to the amp. Original Floyd Rose bridge, locks at the top. Awesome instrument. If you're familiar with the channel, you know we do reviews here. After the review, we then sell the instrument. This instrument's been sold, so before it goes out, we want to give it a really good cleaning, put some fresh strings on it, and clean up the frets a little bit. So that's what we're going to start out with. If you don't have one of these and you have a floating bridge, it is highly recommended, especially if you're taking all the strings off the guitar. You place this behind the bridge like that, and it prevents the bridge from going all the way back and damaging the knife edges. First thing we're going to do is unlock our locker. And since we're taking all the strings off, I'm going to go ahead and remove the locking nuts. And I'm taking them off in the same orientation that they went on the guitar. And the reason for that is, on the back of each one of these there's a little groove, and that groove gets in there from the strings. So if you take your low E locker and you put down here, these strings are a larger gauge. So if you put this one over here and you lock it down, it can get in that groove and you still can have slipping, if that makes sense. So I try to keep them in the exact same orientation that they came off the guitar. Now some people will tell you that you can just cut the strings right off the guitar. Maybe you can, but I do prefer to loosen the strings on the guitar, take the tension off the neck, and then cut the strings. It only takes a couple seconds more to do it. Look at it as a safety net. It's only going to cost you a minute of your time. And they're all pretty loose. I like cutting them right in the center. Okay, now we're going to take our 3mm and we're going to loosen our lockers on our bridge. Pull the string out. And then I snug the locker back down. As we're moving the guitar around, you don't want to lose the locking block. So if you snug that back down, it prevents that block from falling out of the bridge. Okay, I'm going to take the bar out. The frets on this guitar were 100%, so I'm not overly concerned as far as the fret leveling, but we do want to give them a good cleaning. And if you're going to do the time to clean it and do the fret erasers and stuff, you might as well tape off the neck and give it a good polishing. So I'm going to show you my little tape trick. I do this in pretty much every video. we're going to come right to the edge of the fret. And down here is the hardest part because of the guitar body. There we go. I'm folding over the edge right there. Now I'm going to come back and put another piece of tape on it, and we're going to fold that over. You'll understand why once we get a little further into it. It makes tape removal much easier. All right, let's do the other side. I want to protect the body right here because we're going to have some tooling coming in around this section of the guitar. All right. Now we're going to start at the top. While you have the big tape out, go ahead and do the bottom, your last fret. And since we're working on the frets, I like to tape off the pickup. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to go to our second size. That's going to be it for that size. We'll go to our next size. Okay, now our fingerboard is completely taped off. We're ready to go to the next step. And before I do that, I am going to tape off this last little section up here, up to our locker. Because we will be polishing, so we'll protect that. The body itself, we're going to be cleaning that, so if anything gets on that, it won't be a major crime, because we still have to go back and clean the body. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to flip the guitar around. Like I said, we're not actually leveling frets, but I do want to clean the frets up. Feeling the frets down here, it has what I call a basic fret dressing, so we can definitely get them a little better. So we're going to take my Stumac dressing file, and the one end of the file has a bull nose and the other end is square. You want to take your bull nose size of the fret file, lay it in the position here. Now your first one's a little harder because of the body, but I like taking my finger here and just kind of rolling it. Now I try to keep the same position, so I'm going to move my chair down. Now this side takes a little while to get used to because you're moving in the opposite direction. Sometimes you can flip it around. We're moving that way, so it's the edge towards the nose. All right, looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to go through and lightly hit the frets. This is 1500. So all we're trying to do is clean the frets. And you can see my sandpaper is pretty much worn out, so it's pretty much doing is polishing the fret. Okay, I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and when we get back we're going to start polishing these frets. Okay, now we're ready to start polishing our frets. I have our first compound, and it is a fine compound, but I'll go back over with some blue, which is super fine. But we're going to start out with this. And I have my Dremel, I have a multi-speed Dremel, and my Dremel was set to about 50% on the speed. So I will be editing the video to lower the volume of the Dremel because it's quite loud. But that's the only alteration that I'll do. I may go into squirrel mode, just that way it's faster. But I'll do a couple frets in real time, that way you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll speed through the process. Okay, I'm going to get my super fine compound, and we're going to give it a real quick pass with the blue. Okay, now we're going to take the tape off. And this is where our little tape trick comes in handy. We did go through the tape right there, but we should still be in pretty good shape. We are giving the guitar a bath anyway, so I'm not overly concerned. The yellow shows everything. So if you did your guitar and you didn't think that you got stuff all over your guitar, it's just because the color didn't show it. Believe me, it went on your guitar. Alright, now we're going to start peeling up. We want to be careful until we get it up and onto the neck, because we're trying to peel this off in one pass. If you have one or two little pieces, that's fine. But if you're not doing it this way and you're sitting there peeling each individual piece off, that takes a tremendous amount of time. And don't rush, just a little bit at a time. That's what you're looking for. That's why we wrap the tape around and join it together, so you can get it off in one piece. And you can see where we burned through right there a little bit. And even though we taped it, we still got the fingerboard dirty. Maple shows everything. All right, now we got to get to cleaning. Okay, I'm going to take about 5 or 10 minutes and give this guitar a really good cleaning. But you can see here, the frets are really shiny. And our new dressing on the end of the fret is far better than stock. These are just butter smooth now. Little bonus for buying a guitar from Music and Gear. Okay, what I've done, so you guys didn't need to watch it, I took the time to really give the guitar a deep cleaning. I went through with some guitar cleaning compound, cleaned the body, and then put 1 coat of Carnauba guitar wax on it. We also cleaned the fretboard, so they are really shiny. Cleaned the headboard, headstock, back of the neck, back of the guitar. Now is the time to clean, because you can get in here and do some good cleaning, clean your tuning keys, get in here with a vacuum that has the brushes and get all the dust out, anything in here. Now's the time to really give your guitar a nice cleaning. Now that that's all done, we are putting these on the guitar. These are very high quality strings. I like these and String Joy the absolute best. These are just a fraction cheaper. I think these are $16 a set. The String Joys are like $18.50, and I think they're both great strings. So let's put these on. Well, it's kind of stuck in there. There we go. So you're going to notice with these, you do not get the orange, red, so you need to pay attention on the color code if you're not used to using these. And I do so many guitars I can't remember one string from the other, so I'm definitely going to leave it right there. And we're going to start with our low string. And that one is brass. So since we're working with a Floyd Rose, we're going to cut the ball end off. Then 3mm wrench. When you put these in, you want to try to keep the string in the center and perfectly straight up and down. And I just lightly hit it. Make sure you're all the way down, then give it a good firm tightening. And I usually hold the string like that. That's about all you need on this. And I'm going to start turning it. When it gets about right there and the string starts turning, I'm going to come in and just grab the string and give it a little kink. Go to our A string. Next set. And your D is the silver. Make sure the string is all the way down in the bridge, and always come back and look. So that one needs a little bit of an adjustment right there. Make sure it's down all the way. Then tighten. Then our last string. Again, make sure it's all the way down and look at it. Make sure it's setting centered in the block. Okay, we're going to plug our tuner up and see where we're at. Now you should be able to take your bridge out. Of course, it's going to fall back a little bit because we're just guessing. You look at our bridge, and our bridge is telling me that it needs to be adjusted. Where are we at? It still needs to come back a little bit more. We're going to tune it right there. It's a little forward. Check our fine tuners here real quick. The frets are stupid smooth. Intonation is extremely close. I don't think it's worth messing with because it's only off, like the E's just a fraction sharp. Actually, E's pretty good. That is like 1 cent, if that. That's pretty good. All right, we're going to take our 3mm, wherever I put it. And remember earlier, we took our lockers off in the orientation that they came off the guitar. And the reason for that is the strings can wear grooves in these, okay? So if you put your low E one down here, now your low E groove is on your B string. So just be mindful when you're doing it to put it back on just like it came off. Now we're going to give it a final tune, and you can see our string tree is adjusted right because it did not change the tune of the string. And that's the puppy dog. What is it, Raleigh? And that's it. This guitar is ready to go to its new proud owner. It is set up, intonation's right. Nice. Again, if you're not familiar with the Kramer Beretta, these are great guitars. They really are. Don't let the one pickup thing scare you. This guitar was designed to do one thing, and that's rock and roll. The advantage to a single pickup, you know, a lot of people claim the magnets in the pickup pull the strings, okay? And the single pickup gives you more sustain because you don't have the other pickups pulling down on the strings. Is there any validity to that? I don't know. This guitar and my other Beretta hold sustain really well. I also have a PV Vandenberg that has one pickup here and a single coil in the center position. It's more like a neck center mix. And that guitar also has great sustain. And it only has two pickups, you know. So, in my personal opinion, I think there is a little truth to that. These guitars really do sustain well, and they're meant to rock and roll. No tone, just plug it in, turn the volume up, and rock. All right, I want to thank everyone for watching this video on how to give your guitar a tune-up. You know, if your guitar is a year or two old, maybe it's time to go and clean up your frets. Give it a really good cleaning. Put some new strings on it. You might be surprised how you might fall right back in love with that instrument that you bought 2, 3, 4 years ago. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Go down and hit that like button. It really does help the YouTube AI system push the video out for other people to discover the channel. We also do guitar reviews here, and we're live every Thursday and Saturday night. Hope to see you there. Thank you again for clicking on the video.